Good morning everybody and welcome to this week's English videos. We're going to do something a little different this week. We're not going to focus on a particular story, we're going to do some grammar work. So this week we're going to be looking at different sentence types. Now year ones, this will be a bit of a kind of like a look into what you need to do for year two. Year twos, you will need to know this ready for going up into year three at the end of the year. Okay, so our objective today is to identify the different sentence types. We're going to read some sentences. There are 4 different types, and I'm going to go through those in a minute. Each one has a particular punctuation that you use, so we're going to have a look at those. And then your task today is to sort some sentences out for me. Okay? So let's have a look at the 4 sentence types to start with. So we have statements, we have questions, we have commands, and we have exclamations. Now 3 of these you will have already come across so far this year. Statements we've done lots of, although you might not know it. Questions we've done a bit of, and commands we did that with our instruction writing. Okay, it's the exclamations that we haven't covered before, and they're the trickiest ones to do. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go through all 4 sentence types now, and then each day this week we're going to focus on a particular sentence type. Okay, so I don't want you to do this work straight into your English book, but you will need to do some writing. So if you pause the video now and go get a scrap piece of paper or a bit of lined paper and a pencil, because I'm going to get you to jot some things down for me. Okay, so pause the video and don't do that now, please. Okay, so you've got a pencil, piece of paper, napkin, something to write on. Okay, please don't write on your table at home. That's not a good idea. So, what are the 4 statement types? Okay, meet Blab. He's my resident alien. He's going to help us with our sentences and our different sentence types today. So the first one we're going to look at is statements. Statements are sentences that tell us something. Most sentences that you write are statements. Pretty much everything you have written this year has been a statement. Okay, so it tells us a fact. So here I've got a couple of examples. A rainbow has 7 colours. Mr. Copping is a teacher. So very simple fact statements, sentences. These sentences all start with a capital letter and end in a full stop. Okay, so got your piece of paper and a pencil ready? I want you to write a statement about this elephant. So tell me something, or write down something about this elephant until you're grown up. Pause the video now and write your sentence. Okay, you could have had lots of different things. You could have had, this elephant is grey. This elephant has 4 legs. This elephant has 2 tusks. This elephant lives in Africa. Okay, any of those would have been a statement, because a statement is telling something that is true. Really, really simple. Okay, our second one, oh Blab, you're upside down, is questions. Okay, again, we have done some of this before, so I apologise if you know this already. Questions are used when you want to find something out. They always end with a question mark. Okay, so here are my 2 sentences, my 2 examples. What time is it? And there's my question mark. When are we going to the park? And there's my question mark. So my question mark, they always end the sentence with a question mark, which is why they're called questions, and which is why question marks are called question marks, because they mark the end of a question. Okay, right. Questions all start with a question word. Okay, now the simplest way of doing this is to look at it as 5 W's. Okay, and these 5 question words are what, where, when, why, and the only one that doesn't follow the pattern is who. So most sentences will start with these questions: what, where, when, why, or who. Can you come up with a question now using each one of those words? So can you write 5 quick sentences on your piece of paper? Pause the video and have a go now. Okay, here would be my examples. What time is it? Where are we going? When is it home time? Why do I have to do Mr. Copping's work? And who is at the door? 5 simple sentences. There are other question words as well, like did and can, but we're interested in the 5 W's for the moment. Okay, so that's statements and questions. The next one we're going to have a look at are commands. Commands are urgent or angry sentences that contain an imperative verb. So talk to the person who's with you. Do you remember what an imperative verb is? 10 seconds now. Okay, so an imperative verb is a bossy verb which you use when you give an instruction. So here I've got 3 different types. Stop it, make your bed, help me. So the first 2 are just simple commands. Urgent, stop it, make your bed. That's stop is my imperative verb, make is my imperative verb. The third one you'll see is slightly different. Help is my imperative verb, but I have ended it with a question, with an exclamation mark. Okay, an exclamation mark is a line with a dot. And some commands, when they're angry or when they're shouted, and you'll see this, you might find these in your reading books. If somebody is shouting something, then they will put an exclamation mark at it, which means it's being done loudly. Okay, so let's have a look. Okay, I have a Bebot here. Okay, and he's starting here. I want you to come up with some instructions to get him here. So move forward, move left, move right, go forward, go back, go right, go left. How can you get him to this arrow here, the forest? Okay, pause the video and have a go. Okay, hopefully you have given the instructions. Now you can see that there are squares. So I'm going to say move forward 4 spaces. Move is my imperative verb. So 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces. Okay, now I want him to turn, so he's looking this way. So that means we're going to get him to turn left. Look. Whee! Turn left. Move, go forward 1, 2 spaces. Now I want him to turn right and move forward 1 more space. And that's how he gets to the forest. Now you could have gone this way round. You could have gone straight across the park if you wanted to. You could have said skip forward 4 spaces. All good examples. So we've now done statements. I know this is quick, but the whole point of today is to try and get through this quickly, and then we'll focus on each of these every day this week. The last one is exclamations. Oh, Blab, you've got some friends. So an exclamation sentence is used when somebody is surprised. They always start with how or what and end with that exclamation mark again. So here I've got some example. What big feet you have. So here is starts with what, and it has our exclamation mark at the end. And then how great was that film? How great was that film? It's almost like you're giving somebody a compliment. You're saying something about someone. Okay? So here I have 3 sentences. What a way to say thank you. What is for lunch today? How silly to do PE in the rain. Okay. Sentence 1, sentence 2, sentence 3. Which of those are exclamation sentences? Pause the video and have a think. Okay, so remember what I said about exclamation sentences? They need to start with what or how and end in an exclamation mark. So what a way to say thank you. Starts with what, there's our exclamation mark. So that is an exclamation sentence. Second sentence, what is for lunch today? There's what, but it doesn't end in an exclamation. It ends in a question mark. So that's a question. How silly to do PE in the rain. There's our how, and there's our exclamation mark. So that one is an exclamation sentence as well. So they start with what or how and always end with an exclamation mark. You couldn't do what is for lunch today and then change it to an exclamation mark because it's a sentence. So what can be a bit confusing sometimes because sometimes it starts a question, sometimes it starts an exclamation. Okay, so going through the 4 types now. If your sentence is a statement, it must tell you something and end in a full stop. If your sentence is a question, it must ask something and should end in a question mark. If your sentence is a command, it must tell you to do something. And if your sentence is an exclamation, it must start with how or what and contain a verb and end in an exclamation mark as well. So now you've got that, you've got a sheet in your book. In fact, you've got 2 sheets in your book. One is stuck into your book and the other one is this one. What I want you to do, and it could take you a bit of time, is to cut out all the sentences around, as neatly as you can, around the boxes, and I want you to stick them onto the sheet stuck in your book where it says statement, question, command, or exclamation. So, Mr. Copping is a crazy teacher. Is that trying to tell me something? Is that asking me something? Is that a command? Is it something that I'm surprised about? Okay, if you think it's a question, you then think, right, does it end in a question mark? No, it doesn't, so it cannot be a question. Is it telling me to do something? No, it's not. Okay, so it's got to be a statement or an exclamation. The exclamation starts with how or what and ends in an exclamation mark. Does this do it? No. So the first one, Mr. Copping is a crazy teacher, is you're telling somebody something. It's a statement. It's a fact. Okay? Go through, cut all of these out and stick them on the sheet in your book. And then we'll be back tomorrow to focus on questions. Bye, everybody.